back from on top of the wall. My name is Mason Knopp, and in this video of Rip and Review, we are reviewing all of the commanders from the 2019 Precons that are new. I'm ranking them with three different things in mind: competitiveness, new potential decks, and is it a staple? Now, what I would like to point out here is we're checking the advantages that it gives you for competitiveness, the different unique strategies that it opens up, and then the how often will you see it question. If you like this or you like anything you see here, let me know in the comments down below. Starting at number 16, Sabine, the Chronoclasm. Perfect. You're not Kess. 1 out of 10 for competitiveness, 0 for new potential decks, and I think you're not going to see that often, so I'm going to give you a 1 out of 10. It's only because it's in a precon. That's the only reason why you're seeing it. Number 15, Tangar, First Mate. There probably isn't a lot of room for this in competitive play. A 4-mana beater is probably not going to define the format. Very few people will play this card in the precon after they open it. I can't find a deck that is desperate enough for an assault suit right now. Tangar is unique, though. This is a creature with a unique ability that although casual, is pretty cool. 1 out of 10 for competitiveness, and I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10 for unique strategies that it opens up. It is the first commander that I've seen with assault suit attached to it, and a 0 out of 10 for how often you're going to see it. Number 14, Precons, Sky Rampart. People are still going on about walls, huh? Yep, it's a wall commander. Arcades, the strategist, seems like a stronger choice with a better color and a source of card advantage. Oh, and a win condition. Precons, Sky Rampart is not those things. Just play Arcades and do more stuff. 1 out of 10 for competitiveness. 2 out of 10 because it is a wall commander in Jeskai rather than Bant. So that does open up a different kind of strategy. And it is interesting to see the weird mechanic of forcing people to attack different directions at the table. And a 2 out of 10 because, like, as a staple, because people will play this because it's just a wall commander. Like, they'll just play it because it's a wall commander. Number 13, Griswold, the Dread Sower. Why, hello! Not as good as Mazarek, Skullbriar, or Savra. Do you pass the vanilla test? And you do things. You do pass the vanilla test, and you do things. But you don't have the raw power of anybody else. Craterhoof is a card that your opponents might be on, which would punish you for playing this card and give your opponents creatures. In casual groups, Griswold is really sweet, but not necessarily something you want to see at super high competitive levels of play. It does have some synergies that didn't exist before it. There's a group hug feeling I'm getting from him. If there was more edict effects and more reasonable token hate in the format than there is right now, I could see him getting a lot better. 3 out of 10 for competitiveness because it passes the vanilla test. A 2 out of 10 for the new kinds of decks that he opens up. And I'm going to give him a 1 out of 10 for how often you're going to see him. Number 12, Marissa, the Breaker of the Coil. Fratcat says, what up? So we all can recognize the dopeness and the freshness of Fratcat. Fratcat liked to party, so he gets in from time to time to make sure everyone is swinging. Fratcat is like the only bro you can call on to goad everybody into partying at once. You know you like it when Fratcat... You know you like Fratcat more than you like to admit. 3 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 2 out of 10. Fratcat out. Number 11, Ramy, the First of the Fallen. Essentially a Soul Flare as a commander that has to watch them die in order to get the ability. The best way to play Ramy is to play a fair deck full of staple creatures that have combat abilities incidentally on them, like Baleful Strix, Tombbound Lich, Kefnet the Mindful. You should also have like a sack outlet so you can make sure you can put them into exile as fast as possible or like at any moment. If you want to maximize the power of Ramy, use Ramy as more of a finisher or a hate card when possible. The first commander to come to mind is Marissa, the Pretender. Exiling stuff and putting counters on them to give it an advantage and power up the card itself. There aren't a lot of creatures with double strike in bug right now, so unfortunately we'll have to wait on WotC to get back to us on that. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10 for competitiveness. I'm giving it a 3 out of 10 for the different decks that it opens up, and I'm giving it a 1 out of 10 for how often you're going to see it. Number 10, Garak, son of Yawgmoth. Ew. What's that growing on your shoulder? I know that's not armor. Is that mold? You can't accelerate very much with him because a lot of cards that you want to cast use Misk mana, which you still need to actually pay for. He's alright in like a fair deck though. He can accelerate you from turn to turn pretty well. He does accelerate you a lot more over a long period of time with lots of chances for combat to give you the ability to swing in with this creature that you're buffing up and gaining all the life back with. He is really far down on this list because of the lack of advantages that he gives you. He doesn't necessarily give you card advantage or pseudo card advantage all on his own, and he doesn't. The tempo advantage that he does offer you is not that much ultimately because you're in a mono black deck and there's not a ton of pure mono black cards that can really just shoot you to the winner's circle in every single game all of the time. People will still play him for his Phyrexian mana ability, making him a rather popular card. I give him a 4 out of 10 for competitiveness, a 3 out of 10 for the different decks that he opens up, and a 4 out of 10 for how often you'll see him. Number 9, Anji Falconwraith. Meet Lady Rummaging Goblin, the Esteemed, the Royal, the Regal. I actually did a deck tech for a more competitive build. If you're interested, you should check out that deck and the rest of my channel while you're at it. You can dig through your deck pretty fast if you use her with a lot of different Madness cards as a thinner. There aren't a lot of great ways to play her, or really a lot of reasons to play her. None of the Madness cards right now are particularly great in Commander because they don't scale, or really outside of the game of Commander either. The next time, though, that a set with Madness cards in it comes out, she'll have way more options and hopefully a lot better ones. I'm giving her a 6 out of 10 for competitiveness, and I'm going to give her a 3 out of 10 for the different decks that she opens up, and a 2 out of 10 for popularity. Right now, during the downtime, like over time, she will go down steadily until the next set with Madness cards comes out. Then she'll shoot back up in popularity, and this will change and fluctuate. Number 8, Jahard, Conclave Exile. It's one of the few token commanders that makes tokens repeatedly and is in good colors for tokens. No doubt, he is cool. He is cool. I like him. He needs a ton of support to get competitive and then some. Mrath is a better choice to combo off with, but requires other cards. Jahard just needs himself to close out the game. Token commanders never fail to amuse people. He will always have some level of popularity just because he says the words populate on him and he's better than Tristani. I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10 for competitiveness. I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10 for the different decks that he opens up. And I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10 again for popularity for being a token commander. And I particularly like him. Number 7, Kadena, Slinking Sorcerer. Meet the new official Morph Commander. Easily taking the place of Animar for a lot of people. After you cast it, your first Morph is essentially a 2-for-1. Animar may have been able to let you cast every Morph for free, but couldn't draw you cards. She'll be most people's favorite choice every time that they're building a Morph deck, probably for the foreseeable future. I'll give her a 7 out of 10 for competitiveness, and a 5 out of 10 for the different decks that she opens up. She is a Sultai Morph commander after all. And I'll give her a 6 out of 10 for popularity. Number 6, Greven, Predator Captain. Hey, another commander that I've done a deck tech for. Hey, you should check that out. It might be a good video right there. Players that like Lizolda The Blood Witch might also enjoy Greven, so I can see them like having sort of a similar fan base. But the difference is that the thing to look for in creatures in his deck versus the Blood Witch is power and toughness rather than color. I can definitely see Greven getting played as much as Feldon. The setup for Greven is easy and can slingshot you super far ahead in a single swing, and he's a little lackluster as a finisher, but can definitely get the job done. And you really only need to swing with him the one time, and I'd like to emphasize just like how far you can get by just sacking just a simple 4/4, losing 4 life to just draw 4 cards. It's a pretty good exchange. I'm going to give him a nice 7 out of 10 for competitiveness. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 for the new kinds of decks that he opens up. And I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10 for popularity. Number 5, vollrath, the shapestealer. I liked the old vollrath, but not as much as I like the new vollrath. Skithiryx and Evernightshade can easily get together and deal an opponent quick 10 infect together using vollrath. This commander does require a little setup to go off and needs some mana for its ability, making it not the ideal combo piece. Still, leaving it out for a turn can accelerate you enough to make it worth your while. A second copy of Oracle of Moly Dooley, then a second copy of Arcanus, then a second copy of Devoted Druid. He's not the only clone commander, but is a combination of counters matter and copy commanders, almost a combination of Mimeoplasm and Experiment Crash. It gets better every time that a creature card gets printed and every time a deck gets made with more creatures. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10 for competitiveness, a 7 out of 10 for the different decks that he can open up, because there does seem to be a lot of combo potential in here, just in choosing different commanders, and he's rather difficult to build around and kind of interesting too. 9 out of 10 for popular. I think he might be one of the most popular commanders here. Number 4, Gerard, Weatherlight Hero. A great new Boros commander. You sack him after sacking your board for card advantage or for mana, then you get it all back, try to do it again. Board wipes may kill everything, but it brings your board back, which is pretty sweet. Doesn't require all that much setup for that little combination, that little synergy there. Just your commander on the battlefield, plus your board wipe in your hand. There is no other commander in these colors like him. Officially, the most flavorful commander of this video, actually. Officially, the most flavorful commander. Don't know about the most popular, but the most flavorful. I may be getting a little overexcited here when I say that I think that he's a 9 out of 10 for competitive commander within this set. Just because I'm so excited to see a Boros commander that's good. Like, it's just, oh, God. Like, he might make the colors good enough to be, like, competitive playable. I'm going to make a deck for this. 7 out of 10 for the different decks that he opens up. He does offer a lot of combo potential, and I can definitely see him helping you bounce back all of your stuff. Kind of like a second Sunrise deal. And I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 because people will play Gerard because it's Gerard. Number 3, Alta Palini, Nest Tender. Hey, another commander that I did a deck tech on. You should really check out the rest of my channel. Whenever I see this card, I just think to myself, hello, welcome to my Pokemon daycare. How may I help you? Oh, just drop your egg off over there in the corner with all the other tentacle-faced monster demon eggs. I'll let you know when it hatches. I think I'll set this Avacyn egg over on the... Oh, what? Oh, it's hatching. It's an Academy Rector. It just hatches into this elderly woman that can tell you literally everything about enchantments. She potentially gives you a very big advantage, very fast, but with a few holes, a few loops to jump through. She reminds me of Male the Anima, but your deck gets better by having only a few creatures in it rather than a ton of big creatures. I could definitely give her a 9 out of 10 for competitiveness. Just being able to put only a Blightsteel Colossus in your deck and then flip over top of cards of your deck until you find the Blightsteel Colossus, put that into play. It's just really powerful to just essentially search for the one thing that you wanted. It's almost kind of like cascading slash tutoring slash through the breach all rolled up into one, but you have to sack a stupid egg for it. 7 out of 10 for the different kinds of decks that she opens up. There's only so many different deck ideas that you can create while just trying to cheat 1 or 2 creatures into play at a time. And I'm going to give her an 8 out of 10 for the amount of times that you're going to see her. She is still up there on EDH Rec, and people are still trying to build around her and doing all these weird things with like changelings and stuff like that. God, it's so weird. Number 2, Alicia the Infinite. I like her. Future Sight grew arms and legs and started beating people's faces. Tutor Sensei's Divining Top, then pay X, draw X cards. Your commander gains +X until end of turn. Pretty good plan A. Seems like it might be good, just as like cash plan A. I think Alicia will see competitive play. It will be a balanced card in the format at tournaments, and there are a few decks in CDH that will run Future Sight and Sensei's Divining Top combo like together, and they'll use that as a way to just shoot themselves forward with a ton of card advantage really fast. The prowess is just like a nice little bonus on this commander that can help you finish the game in French or dual commander. I don't see people really storming off too much with Alicia the Infinite here, and then just giving her like 20 plus power and toughness and getting in with lethal with her. Easily the most competitive commander of the bunch. Very easily. 10 out of 10. She does open up a lot of interesting deck possibilities having Future Sight as your commander. She is very open-ended. She doesn't lead you into one direction. And 8 out of 10 for how often you'll see her. Because she's just so good, I can definitely see people playing her a lot. She doesn't even have to be that popular, personally, for a lot of people, or that many people's favorite. She's just that good. Number 1, Chainer, Nightmare Adept. This one is at the top, not because it's the best card in every category. It is well ranked in all of them. Chainer is a haste outlet for everything you cheat into play, and it gives you a way to do it. It makes reanimating things more viable. Every creature card you draw can turn into any creature card in your graveyard. Later in the game, more of your cards scale with the game and become whatever the best option is for you within your hand or your graveyard. Like each new creature card gains another mode for each creature card in your graveyard. There are several other reanimation commanders in red and black. None of them have the ability to bring back anything in the yard. Chainer opens up the reanimation strategy that we already know is really good in other formats. We already see it in Modern, and we already see it in Legacy. It's strong. The problem is it doesn't always scale with Commander. There aren't targets that scale with the game of Commander all of the time. This is better than Felden and better than older Chainer, Dementia, Master. 9 out of 10 for competitiveness. I really like this commander, and I think 9 out of 10, again, for whether or not it's going to open up a whole new set of decks. And I think it is. I think it's going to open up a ton of new decks. I think it's going to open up the reanimation strategy that I really want to see in Commander. I think that it's an awesome kind of way to play the game, to try to reanimate things. And I think it's a 9 out of 10 for how often you see it, because of the fact that it's going to open up that way of playing a viable reanimator deck. If you like what you see here, let me know in the comments down below, like always, and tell me what you would like to see in the next video. Otherwise, come in for that face touch.